started my morning, and I think I'm still in a fog. I was sitting on the back patio with my wife, and we were having coffee, and I realized, oh my gosh, it's 8:30. I gotta get. And I don't think I've recovered since.
Benny, thank you, you guys. Y'all did miracle work. If you don't know, then don't worry about it. Yes,
Unless they left it yesterday. Oh, thank you.
How you doing, babe?
So, who would like to do the invitation?
We didn't give him a day.
Are we able to?
You think they're gonna extend it
Forward, or
for November? You think they're gonna give us an extra week? So I
but does
can't
Bob
approve nothing right now?
have his sign or whatever?
Okay.
Bob, are you back there? Are we ready to go?
They said like,
I still don't, okay, we're ready. I see it. Okay. Good morning. We'll call the Wednesday, June 10th, 2020 City Council meeting to order. At this time, I would like to call on Councilman Sellers for the invocation.
Here we go. Thank you, dear God, for this beautiful morning, for this beautiful city that we live in. We're so grateful that we can gather as a public entity to make good decisions for this community as we move forward. We thank you, Lord, that we've been able to control the COVID virus as well as we have. We thank you for the leaders that have stepped forward to help us be able to do that. We ask you, Lord, for peace in our community. We pray that we will be a people for all people and that we will carry forward in this method in the future. Thank you, God, for this day and for our city. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 22nd meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion by Westbrook, a second by McGee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. A presentation from Keith Trimble.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning, Keeter.
You have item P1 before you. This is a request the City Council consider receiving a presentation on the opportunity to refinance about $5.5 million in bonds from the Water and Sewer New Series 2011 Revenue Bond issue at a lower interest cost to gain a net present value savings of about $517,000. Stephen Adams, who's our long-term financial advisor, he's going to be here today to give a short presentation on the details of the refunding. But just to give you a little bit of background, these were originally our Series 2002 revenue bonds, which were issued for the final phase of the Lake Palestine treatment plant. And this will be the second refunding on these bonds. Stephen will go over the preliminary timeline and the sale and all of the detailed information that we need. This is just a presentation, it's not an action item. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Stephen Adams, our financial advisor, to go over the details with you all.
Morning.
Morning. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. You have this in your packet. We're also doing a Zoom, so Jennifer is following along. So anyway, if you go to the first page, Typically, when we do these refundings, we do them with level debt service savings. In the scheme of things, $5.4 million is the amount we're refunding, which will produce about $70,000 a year in savings. But we also wanted to show you a structure where we save most of that money in the initial year, because there are so many construction projects going on right now in the water and wastewater utility that there's a lot of needs for cash that we could use that savings for. And so if you approve this, for us to move ahead today, what we would be doing is taking bids on July the 21st, the day before your meeting on July the 22nd. And so on the 22nd, we would bring you the bids for you to consider and accept, reject, or whichever council wants to do at that time. And then we would close on August the 19th. Now, doing this, our present value savings is going to be about $520,000, which is almost 10% of the amount of debt we're refunding. So it's pretty significant savings, even though $5.4 million, while that's a lot of money to all of us in the scheme of the water utility, it's not a lot. Okay, very good. Next slide. Okay, so this next slide is your debt structure, and you can see if we do upfront savings in that green, your debt service will go down in 2021 by almost $500,000. And then our debt, we're not going to extend the debt, and we're not going to lose any money in any year. We're just going to save it all next year to free up cash for projects. And so you can also see that the utility's debt service structure goes down pretty significantly after the late 2027-28 time period, which hopefully will allow the utility to sell bonds for future projects and improvements that are going to be required for various reasons, and mitigate any type of rate increases that could be needed for those projects. Next page, please. So the next page, which page 3, please, Jennifer. Anyway, this is level savings, which is the way we've normally done all your refunding. So you can see if we did it normally, we would save about $65,000 to $70,000 a year, which is a significant amount, and particularly on a percentage basis. But if you look on page 4, the next page, please. What we're proposing, we're not going to lose any money, we're not going to extend the debt, we're not going to shorten the debt, but we're going to reduce that principal payment in 2021 and save a projected $483,000. And we do have some cushion built into these interest rates, so we're hoping that by the time we get bids, it'll actually be more than that. And so that's the structure we wanted you to consider. That's the one that we would like to go forward with. It's different than what we've typically done. So we just wanted to point this out, make sure that council was comfortable with this structure, or answer any questions about it. The next page, page 5, is the sources and uses of funds. So all of our savings, we have $100,000 estimated cost of issuance. That's all included in all these savings, so there's not any extra money that's going to have to be spent to get to those savings. And then finally, the last page is the timetable. We've briefly gone over it. Just to point out, between now and July 22nd, we will have to get a rating, so we'll do a conference call, which is what we're doing on all these ratings now. We anticipate that to be relatively routine because this is only for savings, and we will have to talk about future projects and other things, other debt we may issue in the future. So we've already done that once, and it's been fine. So we don't.
And so that's what popped onto my calendar, I think, right?
On what?
The meeting, the phone call. With
Yeah.
S&P. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good.
yes, yes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't.
be happy to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll have presentations for you to review and go over for that meeting, and we'll get the questions from them and go through all of that at first. The
Mr. Evans, is this the right screen for you?
now it is, perfect. We're
Okay,
good.
if you would just do motion, and Jennifer will see you,
Okay.
because we don't have any voice to go, okay?
Ah, got it. Well, this is the last one, so I can't get it wrong. This is just the interest rates. You know, they were really, really low in March, and then you see that it looks like a sewing machine pattern there at the far right. The bond market was in complete turmoil when the COVID first came in, and interest rates went all over the place. You really didn't know where they were. These estimates probably aren't even right, but now they're settling back down. Tax exempt rates are coming down. We think that's hopefully going to continue for the next month, and so we think this is going to be a pretty opportune time to do this refunding. And that's all we have. Be glad to answer any questions, take any comments that you have.
I don't have any questions. We've done this several times in the past, and it's worked out very well for us every time, so.
It's always nice to see him because we're always saving money.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I hope it's always that way.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you. So now we're on to H1.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
This is going to be a request that the City Council hold the second of two public hearings for citizen input on the 2020 to 2024 CDBG and Home Consolidated Plan. As the Council is aware, annually the City receives the Community Development Block Grant and Home Grants from HUD. The HUD regulations require that the City create a 5-year consolidated plan to just identify the city's needs and how we're going to allocate the resources over the next 5 years. Each year of that consolidated plan cycle, that 5-year cycle, also requires an annual action plan to identify how we're going to meet those needs in that specific year. The consolidated plan requires an analysis of the city, its current state of things, a market analysis, that sort of thing, to help identify those needs. And based on that, the current identified needs are non-housing community development, which includes things like infrastructure, public services, things of that nature. 2, decent and affordable housing for low to moderate income families. 3, reducing substandard structures. And 4, addressing homelessness. Each project that we undertake with CDBG or home funds must address at least one of these priority needs. Now, until the consolidated plan is finalized and approved by Council, which will be in July, and approved by HUD, these needs are subject to change based on any citizen input or management input as well. And integral to this planning process is citizen input and citizen participation. As such, the city is required to have at least 2 public hearings and a 30-day public comment period on the consolidated plan prior to it being approved by Council. The first public hearing was held virtually on April 30th of this year. No citizen comments or input was received, and today's requested hearing will be the second of the required hearings. So staff is recommending and requesting that the City Council conduct the second of 2 public hearings to obtain citizen input for the 2020 to 2024 CDBG and Home Consolidated Plan.
Okay, so since we're doing this, we're going to have one more, right?
Yes, sir.
And it will be after the city council meetings are open, so people, if they'd like to show up in person, can come back on what date to do the third hearing?
I'm anticipating bringing the consolidated plan to Council for approval in I believe it's July 22nd. It's the second council meeting in July.
Okay, let's make sure that we really publicize that
Yes,
through
sir.
your organization, that people are welcome to come.
Yes, sir. And at
Very
any
nice.
time, people can contact Neighborhood Services to provide input
Yeah,
to
good. So
staff.
if
Yes,
they're
sir.
uncomfortable with this format,
There are other
what
avenues.
what is your, give them not cell, don't give them your cell phone, but give them the office number.
Yes, sir.
Do it right now,
Okay.
so if they're watching.
It's area code 903-531-1303.
Okay,
And they
so-
can ask for me.
Okay. Yeah, say your name again.
Dustin Wilson.
Dustin Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So if you're watching and you're uncomfortable with this format like I am, then you can make sure you give him a call, and then we'll be back for the July meeting for the final deal.
Yes, sir.
At this time, do we have anybody on the telephone?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, what I'd like to say is that if someone begins dialing in now, and then it comes back up before this meeting's over, I still want to take the phone calls. Okay, and we'll open back up the hearing. But
Yes,
other than that, thank you for being here. Is there any questions?
I just want to thank you for addressing the homelessness.
Absolutely.
And then what we'll do is we'll just stick around, don't leave the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'll go on to M1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, item N1 is a request for a construction contract with WM Miller Construction Company. This is construction of the storm drain repair on College Avenue, and this location is just a couple of blocks from here. This is the section of College Avenue that is north of Locust Street to the dead end at the railroad. And if you have this general location in mind, the the loft apartments are on the north end at the dead end of this section of College, right there at the railroad track. So this is an issue. We've had some failures in the storm drains. There's actually two separate storm drain lines that run down this section of College, and we've had failures in both sections, which have caused a fairly significant sinkhole in the street directly in front of these apartment complexes. And that sinkhole's been there for quite a long time. Staff keeps going out and trying to fill it in and get the street put back, and it just keeps washing out from underneath, and the sinkhole just keeps coming back. So we've had to plan to replace the existing storm drain lines. And of course, while we were investigating that, we discovered that there were some issues with the sanitary sewer as well. So we're going to be we had to add that work into this project. So we're going to be doing that work as well.
Okay. Any questions on this project? Motion to approve by
Second.
Broderick, a second by McKellar. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. M2?
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah, M2.
I
Yeah,
assume-
there, and sorry for my pause, you'll keep it messing with the computer here.
All righty. Item M2 is a request for a construction contract with LS Equipment Company, Inc. for construction of the 2020 asphalt enhancement project.
Deborah, was that you, really?
It's, as you can, I was going to say, hopefully it's not a secret, yes, there's all kind of technical difficulties with as far as the tech this morning, so.
Okay.
Deborah has other people on the line, so they can be able to hear as well.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
We're using every little technique we can to
Okay.
establish this meeting.
Okay. Well, thank goodness it's not a very long meeting.
Right, exactly.
All right. Okay, so again, this is the 2020 Asphalt Enhancement Project, which is our annual program to overlay streets throughout the city. This particular project includes 22 lane miles, and you can see on the map that it's fairly equally spread throughout the city. We did receive 2 bids. LS Equipment was the low bidder, and staff is recommending that we award the base bid only for now in the amount of $3,094,189.75.
He's looking.
Yeah, good, thank you. That's what I'm trying to look at the map. One thing that, if there is anybody watching, and if anybody can watch, I think it's important to let the public know that when we do this, it is all from the PCI scoring, Pavement Condition Index scoring program that we do. And so really none of the council members are that involved in it because it goes from the worst locations that are in need
Correct.
now based on professional advice and professional data.
That's
so it's
correct.
not really anything that we even lobby for as a council. It's done very professionally, and we appreciate that. And I'll speak. That's all I'll say on the issue. Are there any other questions or comments?
None.
No,
Move to
sorry.
approve M2.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was this the approximate value last year of the overlay project?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay. Then I second.
A motion from Westbrook, a second by Sellers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
So now we're on to R1. Have we had any phone calls?
No, sir.
Okay.
And also, just monitoring Facebook traffic, there hasn't been much activity.
Right. Well, it's not a very compelling agenda today, so.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Look, we see you in person.
Yes, I really exist.
Yeah, it's good.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. This is a request for the City Council to consider adopting a resolution nominating McWayne Enterprises, doing business as Tyler Pipe, for an award of State of Texas Enterprise Zone Project designation. Tyler Pipe has planned investment of approximately $9 million into the Smith County facility over the next 5 years, which will allow the company to continue to enhance its existing manufacturing capabilities and provide a stable employer for the citizens of Tyler and Smith County. The investment will include the replacement and enhancement of equipment throughout the facility, and Tyler Pipe has planned an investment of almost $2 million in 2020 alone. The company's Smith County facility currently employs 369 full-time employees. The company's workforce consists of highly educated managers, skilled workers, semi-skilled workers, and support staff. The company plans to retain its existing workforce for benefits under the Texas Enterprise Zone program. The Tyler Pipe has also committed to hiring at least 35% of its new hires from economically disadvantaged backgrounds or enterprise zone residents. It is recommended that the City Council adopt the attached resolution as presented.
Great. I would love to see McWayne get back to the days. I believe they had, 1,200, 1,500 employees.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be great. So any way we can support them, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Move to approve R1.
Second.
A motion by Sellers, a second by McGee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Now we're down to the consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be pulled? Or I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
A motion by Westbrook, a second by McKellar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Now to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
This was a short meeting.
It was. And so One of the things of note is with the next council meeting, we are going to start opening up as far as to have ability for audience and people to be able to participate, especially when we have zoning items. We know that there is quite a bit of participation that citizens want to have and be able to come and speak to you and not necessarily over the phone and some of the kind of the clumsiness of that. And so we will be starting to be able to, with the next council meeting, we'll do more advertisements on it, allow people to start coming in. The county, in fact, announced yesterday that they too were also at the Commissioner's Court in the next few meetings, starting to open up as well. We're kind of sharing our plans for how best to utilize the public space and be able to get the public in to be able to make comments and participate. A few items of note, especially on the COVID-19 and response and the continuation of that. We have 2 walk-up sites that we've announced that we want to encourage the public to be aware of for next week on June 16th, 17th, and 18th. The Texas Department of Emergency Management and the Texas Department of State Health Services are providing free walk-up COVID-19 testing opportunities for anyone with or without COVID-19 symptoms. So unlike the drive-through ones that we've had where you had to pre-register, these are, you just show up, be able to take the test. You don't have to be showing symptoms. You can just be concerned or want to have that opportunity. The testing will take place at 2 locations on June 16th, 17th, and 18th from 9 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. These locations are North Tennahaw Church of Christ at 1701 North Tennahaw Avenue, and then also St. Louis Baptist Church at 4000 Frankston Avenue, or Highway, pardon me. The tests are free to the public and do not require advanced registration. A person being tested must have access to a telephone, though, as results will be returned by call or text once they're in. Also, we want to make sure that people know that, just like we talked about the reopening of the council chambers for the public, as council or as citizens have different questions about different facilities and whether they reopen, we advise them to go take a look at the city's website. We continue to update that as our plans come out for different phasing of facilities and when they open. And so the city's website is the place to go to for reopening of facilities and phone information on just what is open, when can they go in, and how best to utilize it. Then also a thing of note is that the Tyler Police Department reports are now on the website as asked for by the public during last week's Black Lives Matters town hall. We had the mayor and Chief Toller participated in a town hall meeting last week, which we've kind of helped with answering a number of different questions. But one of the things that they asked for through that was that we took a look at was being able to have our reports available and transparent to the public, so anybody can go take a look at that. And if you go to the police department's website, on the City of Tyler's website, you can find those reports as they are updated regularly. And then just a final item of note, just kind of that was a sweet opportunity. James Mulligan, who's a firefighter here at the Tyler Fire Department, is in kind of retirement mode and is preparing for that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
And so last week, in honor of his upcoming retirement, he was able to be put back in touch, and we had a nice reunion ceremony with a young girl that he had saved in 1993 during a fire. And she was able to bring her children and family as part of that reunion. It was quite touching, and we appreciate all of the hard work that our public safety personnel are doing on the streets. Whether it is our police department and the work they're doing to make sure that people have a right to speak and are protected during those times, or our fire department. And they have been quite busy during the past few days just for fires that have kind of come up that recently as well. And so both police and fire we're very proud of and grateful for the hard work that they've done and continue to do. Mayor?
Well, I would second that. I think the police department has done an incredible job the last couple of weeks in being so respectful and so helpful, and it just shows their professionalism. And I'm really proud of their actions.
I think we're reaping the benefits of having such a tenured police force also too. A much more mature, calm response. So, yeah, very grateful.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Mr. Mayor, we also want to commend you and Councilman McGee for your leadership during the last couple of
Absolutely.
Black Lives Matter as well.
You know, the perspective.
Our city manager.
Yeah, I think it's important that, I think it's really important for the public to know that, you know, I don't know anything about Minneapolis, right? I've never been there, and I plan to never go there in my life. It's not even on my list.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I don't. But, you know, it appears so much that they are now just trying to do race relations. You know what I mean? And it's just something that in Tyler that we have worked decades to really be able to have good, honest conversations with one another about tough topics. And we've done that for years. And so nobody's perfect. I mean, things come up for sure. But, you know, we just know that we can sit and visit, and we can talk, and we can do peaceful protest, and we can do that as a community. And because we have the basis to do it from. You know, it's just kind of remarkable when you see some of these cities that just haven't done any of that, in my opinion. But I like Tyler. I'll take us.
Yeah.
That concludes my report.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have no more items on the agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned. I didn't wait for a vote, I'm sorry.
The next.